All right. This is not the first show. Certainly not the best show. This is the last show. This could be the last show. I may decide to never do this again. I might focus on my writing. I've been thinking that I'm spread too thin. So this may very well be the last show. Just in case you're wondering. We've done this so many times. Uh I don't know if I have the energy to keep going. Maybe I'll come back to it.
We'll get you through it. For all the longtime listeners, I'd feel bad if we cut them off.
Well, you know, coming on the air tonight, I had an unusual thought. Because I thought you knew this guy, but now I realize you don't know him. You did not work with me. But I knew a guy. I knew a guy. I knew a guy who would wear three collared shirts at the same time.
Wow.
So you'd have one button down open with like a smaller polo
Hmm.
shirt with like the three buttons, and then he'd have another one of those. He'd wear
Right.
three collared shirts, collared button down
Did
shirts.
he pop them? Because the double
No,
polo was a thing, but I
he,
don't know about three.
he didn't pop them. And there's many people that'll be watching this that know exactly who I'm talking about. He may even be watching it. It was not a good look. Um, it
I
was
don't know if
not.
he agrees with that though.
No, it was not a good look. It was not a good look. But I thought about that, and I thought he's somebody that you would have loved to have known because I feel like he would have been but Frank knows who he is. So that's
Okay.
why I kind of sometimes I get mixed up as to especially when you work with someone in different places,
Yep.
it all kind of blends together who knows who. So anyway, I was thinking about that literally right before we came on here, because I have the hood under the shirt. That's my style thing. But his style was three collars. I never seen anything like it. I remember the first time I saw it, I just stared at the collar. I couldn't believe
Trying to count them.
yeah, right. I couldn't believe the nerve on this guy. Three collars, really? You can't throw a t-shirt in there? At least two collars in a t-shirt.
Is it,
So
100 degrees out too?
I don't remember the temperature. It was just such a weird thing. Why would you do that? It was crazy to me. You don't have a t-shirt? Um, so anyway, I have a lot of stories about him, but maybe I'll save those for another time. I was, you know, yesterday was going really well, and then I saw Richard Lewis died.
Yes, he
It was
did. Sad
really,
news.
yeah, he seemed like such a good guy. He was so funny. Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I only watched a few. That was a
Oh,
Showtime series, right? So
HBO.
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 Either one. I don't have either, but yeah, I've seen a few episodes.
Yeah.
Overall, it was a funny
Yeah.
show.
They were so good. And him and Larry, they've known each other. I guess they were born a few days apart in the same hospital, and they went to camp together, and they just had really good like banter on the show. They were always like
Hmm.
arguing and futzing about. And the last show that we saw, the last Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's not the most recent one, the one before that. They were joking to each other that Richard Lewis said, "Oh, I'm going to put you in my will," and Larry David came back and said, "Are you putting me in your will just so that I can put you in my will?" He's like, "I see what you're doing." He goes, "I'm going to outlive you." And Richard Lewis, he looked old. When your face,
Yep.
there's people that are old and they look old, but then their face it goes to that next stage. His face it had kind of that gaunt look,
Yeah,
and
I hadn't seen him in a while, and when the news popped up, I saw the photo. I said, "Oh, yeah,
yeah,
he aged. He did
yeah,
age,
he
but
did.
he wasn't that old. I
No, he
mean,
was 76. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was kind of upset about that. I actually there's two books that I actually read his like he wrote like two kind of like biographies, autobiographies, and I was really fascinated with his process because he would have just notebooks of stuff and just notes, and he would go on stage with like these big notebooks and kind of just go through his ideas and riff, and I guess that's kind of how I work. That's kind of how I live my life. Yeah, just kind of jot down some ideas and roll with it. So I was really he wrote some stuff about Jimi Hendrix, and so I had taken them out of the library previously. So last night I ordered them, so they're coming. So I will hope to share some tidbits. And that's the thing, write a book, because when you're gone, there's not much left,
right?
right?
I mean,
Um,
he does have a lot of TV and movies, but
he
yeah,
does, but you're those
for
are that's
for our
fiction.
regular Joe Schmoes like us.
Right, but and that's kind of fiction. It's like once you're gone, that's it. And how long does that last for? Johnny Carson. Does anybody, my daughter will not know who Johnny Carson is. She will live her entire life not knowing who Johnny Carson was. And he was the number one guy for decades. And just like that, he's gone. I think Penn Jillette said that. Like that's it. We're here. Like Johnny Carson should have written a book. So write a book. So maybe we'll write the last show guide to life, so that'll be our lasting legacy when we're I mean I'm gonna bypass Richard Lewis at 76, but
Hopefully we both do.
yeah, I think I said this 20 years ago, but I think if you live for another 20 years, you could live a very long time. I think they'll be able to replace body parts and do genome stuff and all that stuff. But anyway, what's going on with you?
Yeah, same old stuff. It's Leap Day for anyone keeping track. We're here on Leap Day. So happy fourth birthday to some of you young folk out there.
Right. Is,
Maybe you're 10. I don't know.
right. Is there anything else? Like they couldn't just come up with a calendar that worked every year? Do we know why that is?
Oh,
Lunar?
there's a pretty good explanation out there, but
Okay.
that's for someone smarter than me to explain to you.
Okay. It's lunar. Is it lunar?
Mm, I actually think it dates back to the church. I think the church
Okay.
had something to do with correcting that small amount of time that adds up
Okay.
over the course of 4 years. It could be based on lunar and stuff, but
Lunar. It seems like it's lunar.
yeah,
What else would they how else would they figure that out? I don't know. But anyway, what else is going on? How's
works the same. You know the deal. Um,
di-
Talking about all kinds of stuff, talking about potentially getting investment property, potentially actually setting up an Etsy store for my wife. You ever deal with an Etsy store before?
no, I have nothing to make.
Yeah,
Um,
my wife's become quite the maker.
what does she make?
She's doing a lot of sewing. I got her some sewing
Okay.
classes for her birthday, and
Okay.
she went through the classes. She'd already been sewing, but really had never done anything formal.
Okay.
And she's making so much stuff, so much stuff. I mean, to the point where we can't keep it all. So we're constantly giving stuff away, which is great. I love to give stuff to people, but at the same time, let's monetize some of this.
Okay.
So
So
that's
where is she sewing while she's watching TV, or she's just sitting there sewing without
she
anything
she
else?
does not spend too much time in front of the TV unless I drag her there. She
Okay.
um she spends time at the sewing machine. I mean,
She's using a machine.
oh yeah. Yeah, we're
She's
talking
sewing.
like
What is
fancy stuff. She just made her third pair of pajama pants.
okay.
Those are interesting. I think we need to find a better pattern. They're not too
Okay.
flattering, but they're coming out great. Everyone is getting better.
That doesn't even take that long, right? You just go up and down the legs
I
and you're done.
mean, it,
I didn't realize sewing is with the machine.
yeah, it's sewing machine, man.
You
So
load the
she's
thread
doing,
up.
yep, got to do the bobbins, load the thread. She's now working on, let's call them home goods. She's doing
Okay.
a lot of coasters, right?
Okay.
You can put your drinks on. She's doing baskets that are cloth baskets, but they've got shape to them, so you can put some stuff
Okay.
in them. She's been doing hot plates, bowl koozies. You ever use a bowl koozie? How many you want? We
A
got them.
bowl koozie?
Yeah, so think soup. You put your soup in a bowl, right?
Okay.
Nice and hot. You want to keep it hot? Bowl koozie. Don't
She's
burn your
sewing.
hands.
She's sewing. Why am I thinking like a knit? I'm thinking like a
You're,
knit bowl
so
stuff. That's different.
she does crochet and she does knit
Okay.
also. That's yarn. You're thinking
Crochet is
yarn.
different than knitting.
Yes. Different tools, different
Okay.
what do they call that? It's not a stitch on that. I don't know what they call that. Different patterns.
Okay.
Um,
You
but yeah,
know,
so
she should, it was very bit. My grandmother used to, I believe she would knit and she would use yarn. And she, everybody who had a kid, she made the blankets like
yep,
every grandmother. But what was really big that she would give to everybody was napkin holders that were like
interesting.
plastic. They were like plastic, to hold it together and then knit like different designs on it. So it'd be like plastic with little squares. I don't know how to describe it.
That's needlepoint, cross stitch, that type of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got like plastic patterns that you pull the thread through. The floss, they call it floss actually.
Okay. So she's
Colored
gonna start.
floss.
So how far are you on the Etsy store? Is it up?
No, and that's the thing. I've been actually encouraging her to do it. I think tonight was the official plea for me to help. So I think
Okay.
that'll be my project between this and next. So I'll keep
All
you
right.
updated on the progress.
Yeah, let me know. I would love to buy some stuff. I'm always looking. I don't I never even thought I didn't I thought it was only knitting. I forgot that people sewed. I forgot that people sewed in machines because I used to play. I mean not much, but my mom had a sewing machine and
Yeah,
I
it's a
was
great tool. It really is.
I never just
I
kind of messed
just
around.
back in the day, I had this conversation with my mom. My mom's in rehab right now. She broke her leg, broke her wrist. Long
Okay.
story. She's miserable in rehab because
Okay.
she can't get around too much. But
Right.
we were talking yesterday, and I said, my wife's doing all this sewing. It's great, but I don't understand in this economy
Right.
how it could possibly save anybody any money, right? You think back when our parents were children, their
Right.
parents would sew all their clothes, right? Stuff
Right.
would be handmade from scratch.
Uh,
It was cheap, it was affordable.
Right.
That same pair of pajama pants I was just telling you about, even right now with prices the way they are, maybe they're 10, 12 bucks, at like a bargain place. That same pair is costing her with the fabric, the thread, the elastic, all that stuff. You're looking at a $30 to $40 pair of pajama pants.
Wait, that's just how much it cost her?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's an expensive pair. I mean, she's gonna have to sell high-end pajamas.
Well, yeah, but clothing's not going to be on the Etsy store. I
Okay,
don't think that's a strong point, at least not right now. But yeah,
gotcha.
also
Okay.
the price of fabric's too much. So
Wow. You gotta make the how can you make how do you make fabric?
you need a loom.
Okay.
And I know a guy. You know a guy, I know a guy. I actually know a guy who
I know a
owns
guy.
a company that makes fabrics for some of the largest um, manufacturers of like detergent, like Procter Gamble, all those places.
Okay.
He makes test fabrics. He
Okay.
uses pig's blood and such, but they make different weaves to test out all of these surfactants to actually sell us stain removers or laundry detergents.
Okay. Pig's blood?
Pretty wild. Pig's blood is a big thing for testing out laundry detergent.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm vegan now, so I don't think I
Oh,
should.
that's a shame. After all that talk of meat last week,
Yeah, I'm vegan. I have not had that's why yesterday we were gonna go. I couldn't do it. I hadn't had like salt at all. And I don't know, my body was like I don't know if that's good for you or not, but it's part of the diet is to eliminate salt or minimize salt, sugar, oil.
minimize, eliminates hard.
Yeah, I mean it's not hard. I was putting balsamic vinegar on everything.
I love balsamic vinegar.
So, but I was feeling a little woozy yesterday. I took a little Pedialyte, but um yeah, it's crazy. You do some research in the diet. Literally, if you literally just eat whole grains and vegetables, you can reverse heart disease in a matter of weeks, like a month. You can stabilize any cholesterol that you've got, any like you can then they've got you can look at the book, Reverse and Prevent Heart Disease. It's unbelievable. I mean, this is not the problem is nobody will do it. So they put people on statins. Like imagine
Mhm.
that. Nobody will change the way they eat to save their lives. They will not do that. They'd
Yeah,
rather
I
eat
can
stuff.
see it.
I mean, that's insane to me. I don't even have heart disease, and I'm like, you see, who's the guy from 90210? He just dropped dead. The guy from Growing Pains, the father, just
Mhm.
dropped dead out of nowhere. These are rich guys. I mean, they were probably eating high on the hog, but still, like that's scary. Is that stuff just builds up, and so I get my calcium score. I get, and I said I gotta clean
You're
it up.
keeping track of all those numbers? 'Cause I'm not the health guru here, but certainly last year went on a change of diet and not exercise, walking. We were talking about
Right.
walking before we got on here, but, um, I tell you, my numbers improved drastically.
Well, calcium score, I mean, I don't even know if you can reverse the calcium score. I think you even if calcium score is the amount of calcium buildup, and that predicts plaque buildup.
Hmm.
So it's not even actually plaque buildup, but that there's a correlation there that they've made. So my calcium score was 0. And actually the first time I had it done, I was having like really bad anxiety, and we were making a joke that my tombstone was gonna say, I had a 0 calcium score, which is perfect. And like because that was like I was so scared to get those results, and then they were like, oh, it's 0. And I hadn't taken care of myself the last couple of years. I just got it done again, and it's still 0.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty damn good.
yeah, so my chance for heart disease is low, but I want to keep it that way. And this diet ensures that. I mean, it literally like you can you literally can't be on this diet and have a stroke or a heart attack on this diet. I mean, eventually your heart will go, but you can't
Yeah,
have
I
a
don't
blockage. You cannot
I
have a blockage. You
okay,
cannot
yeah,
block
yeah, okay, a blockage maybe, but I don't know, I feel like there's other
a
things
stroke
at
or a heart
play
attack.
here.
That's a stroke or a heart attack. That's what causes a stroke and a heart attack. You can't have one.
Mm.
It's physically impossible to have one. You can't have one. You can't. You can't. I don't know why
All right.
everybody. So
So
and don't get me wrong. I will. I'm gonna be really hardcore about it. I need to lose weight and get into shape. I'm doing. I didn't
yeah,
walk today.
what are you doing for that? Because I walk. I walk and I make sure I don't eat, I
And
eat human
you lost a lot
portions.
of you how much you lost a lot of weight. But I can't do
I
6
did.
miles a day though. That's I
N
can't walk a
so
mile.
so listen, yeah, I agree. It's time consuming to do that far. I think my average target is 8,000 steps, right? Like, just to have some baseline.
Right.
I think my wife's aiming for 12,000. I'm happy if I hit 10,000.
How
But
many
yeah, if
steps do you
we
have today?
well, because of that walk, I guarantee it's pretty good. I am officially at 14,300.
Yeah. See, this is what pisses me off. I don't know if we talked about this on one of the past shows, but one day I'll tell you about the plans I had for the backyard. I wanted to create a walking path in the backyard, and then years later I realized I don't have to create a walking path. I don't have to wait to put down pavement. I can just walk in the backyard.
On the
Like
grass.
right on the grass. It took me 3 years to realize I could just walk in the backyard. So the day that I
What a
realized
novel
it,
idea.
the day that I realized this, I was out there walking around in circles, and it was so great because my wife and my daughter, they're sitting under a big tent we have. They're playing. We've got the music. We got the Sonos speakers. We're listening to music. We're all together. The dog's running around. Everybody's together. I'm exercising. So happy, right? I got like 10,000 steps in.
That's
And
amazing.
go to dinner. We go to dinner with my family, and I say to my brother-in-law, I said, "Yeah, I got 10,000 steps today." And he's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "I got 17,000." And I'm like, "What the heck?" I'm like, How?" And it was only like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, "Are you walking around in circles in your backyard?" I don't really trust this. Like, he's like, "Oh, I usually get 20,000." I'm like, 20,000 steps is 10 miles. How are
So
you
is he
10
it,
miles a day.
you sit at a desk like me most of the day, so
Yes.
I
Yes.
get it's difficult. I mean, unless you're at a walking desk, like what does your brother-in-law do?
I think he lies, is what I think he does.
I
Anyway,
mean, that'll get you there.
yeah, so I don't know. I don't no, he was doing, I think he's working, I think he was working out. So he was going and working
Okay,
out
he
and
was
going on like
right,
a treadmill
intentionally.
or an
And listen,
elliptical or a machine.
when
So
I started my journey last year, that's exactly what it was, and it's just time consuming. I don't.
yeah,
I look back and say I don't know how I did it, but
right. And you were doing 20,000 steps a day,
I
right?
was doing 20. So the month of May, I kept track every single day using an app. There was a challenge, everything. I averaged like 27,000 steps a day.
And
27,000. I was getting up 5:30 in the morning, walking until my 9 o'clock meeting. I would try to get a walk in at lunch,
what are
and
you
then
doing?
I'd
You're
do it
listening
again
to,
in the evening.
what are you doing? You're listening to stuff?
Plowed through podcasts, plowed through them. I went through like 3 or 4 different series that had multiple seasons.
And what are your numbers good? Your blood work, your
Yeah, I
cholesterol?
mean that's the crazy thing, right? Is that it made a difference. I mean,
Yeah.
glucose was back under control. The only thing I my numbers, and it's hereditary, is blood pressure. That's the
Right.
one thing that I have yet to get under control without medication, and I'm really, really avoiding the medication route, but I may have to at some
Try
point.
to try to try to do the try to do the diet with no salt. Salt raises your
So
blood.
I do not use salt. I buy everything either low salt or no salt. In fact, we should probably talk about it at some point, but I actually found several salt-free hot sauces. So if you're a hot sauce fan, you can actually have great hot sauce with no salt. Because that was one of the biggest things that was in my diet, I think, that had
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, especially since I'm eating everything plain,
You want
hot sauce.
flavor.
So I went to the store. I couldn't find Tabasco at King's. So I don't think Tabasco has that much sodium in it. So that's fine. But I got Frank's hot sauce. I don't know how much sodium is in that.
Frank's has a lot, and it's based
Yeah.
on like I feel like it's based on a quarter or half teaspoon.
Okay. I mean,
And
it's hard to get a
it's a
lot out of
lot.
the bottle, but whatever. If that's the only salt I'm having in a day, and I don't put it
Right.
on everything, I put it on, a couple things. So, and today was the first day I had DoorDash, and I had a DoorDash bowl, from Chipotle, and it was brown rice, black beans, pico, the corn, and guac. Uh,
The pico is probably where your salt was, but that's not
Yeah, I
terrible.
mean, I'm sure there's salt in everything, but
Yeah.
again, I'm okay with having some salt if everything else I'm eating is healthy. Like,
Right.
there's no fry, there's no nut, like none of that stuff was even cooked except for the rice. So I liked it so much. I ordered it again for dinner. It was fantastic.
Nice.
It was so good. But yeah, so I'm only 4 days in, but I'm gonna do it pretty hardcore. I think I'm gonna give up coffee. I don't think that's the guy who this diet is based on is Dr. Caldwell Esselin, and he says coffee decreases nitric oxide creation, which is essential for heart health and for blood vessel health. And he said they've done studies, people drink coffee, people don't drink coffee, and there's an effect.
Hmm.
So he recommends that. And
Coffee's good and bad. It depends on the results
yeah, I don't think
of
I
the
would give it
study.
up 100%, but I would like to, because they have said now that it builds up. Look at that. I had
Right.
that. You're
No,
drinking that.
this is a different one though. This is a I can't even. It's too
Yeah, it's
much
blurring it
blur.
out.
Yeah, this is cherry twist. So like I told you, I don't drink caffeine every day, but I did have my Alani today.
Are you drinking it now, or you just saved that bottle?
I've been working on it. I probably I started at maybe like 5:30.
You're gonna be able to sleep tonight?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I can't do that.
yeah. I don't have that issue.
Can't do that. But so now that inspires me. I want to go out and go for a walk after this and just walk for hours. I just want to walk for hours.
I listen. Good goal is 4 miles. Sounds like you have a decent pace. If you can afford even just 45 minutes to an hour, do the 3 to 4 miles.
Do I have to do it all at once? Does it
You know
make
you
a
don't have no, but I mean it's to me it's easier to block one set of time. That's what I learned when I was doing all those steps. it's easier to do it in one shot because
Right.
I'm not a runner, right? There's a lot of people who run much further in a shorter amount of time.
Right.
It beats up my body. Let
Right.
me walk, let me watch the food I'm eating, and I don't call it a diet. I
Right.
don't restrict myself from eating anything in particular. I eat human portions.
Right.
I'm paying attention to serving sizes and being aware of how many of those servings I'm having at
Mhm.
any given time. And man, I still have my candy. I have a big sweet tooth. Still have my candy. I wait till at least 5 p.m. to have any candy in the day. You
Okay.
know, little things, and really, it wasn't hard to get there.
How much
There's
weight did
days
you
I'm
lose?
hungrier. So since I started, literally April 1st last year was like when I went on this kick. I'm down 31 pounds,
Wow. Okay.
and
That's 31
I
pounds in a
was
year. That's walking 15 miles a day. You only lost 31 pounds in a year.
so I was down 30 pounds by like mid-September. I put a
Okay.
little bit of weight on
So
through
that's
the
five
winter with
months.
holidays and
Okay.
stuff, but we
That's
just
like
weighed ourselves on Tuesday, and I'm back to the 31 mark. So
that's like 2 pounds of that's like a pound and a half a week. About.
when you start eating regular portions and you're doing something, it falls off. It was like two and a
Right.
half, 3 pounds a week.
Yeah. So that should happen to me. That should happen. So, and I'm doing the 2 miles. The 2 miles is good. 16-minute miles. I'm
Yeah,
about 15
that's
to
great.
16 and a half. So I just got to crank it up. Yeah. And I got to go back for, because my cholesterol was like 220 I think it was September or August. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
got my cholesterol finally into the good zone. I'm hoping it's even better now, almost a year out. But
right. And you know what? I don't have, so again, with the calcium score being 0 and with my my blood pressure's always fine. Like I'm not like I probably don't have heart disease. It's not
right,
genetic. All of my nobody in
there's
my
other
family.
people who should be more focused on it than you,
Right, right.
probably.
But again, if I'm crazy about it, why aren't those people? I don't know, but
Yeah,
this is it's you can literally change. You can you can prevent heart disease like
you'll have
that.
to send me. I've never done the calcium one. You'll have to send me how I can do that.
Yeah, I think. Oh no, you got to go. It's like an X-ray, or I don't know. Maybe it's like in an MRI machine. I think it's an X-ray of your chest.
Okay,
And my doctor was nervous. He's like, I don't want to. He's like, he goes, they can see like nodules on your lungs, and he's like, they could find something
I'd rather know now though.
I know, but he knows that I'm a little bit of a
He knows
yeah.
your anxiety level.
Yeah, yeah. So the first time I went, they're like nothing, and then I went again, and then um a couple of weeks ago, I was having like I couldn't take a deep breath, and this has happened to me before. Um, so I went to urgent care, and of course they're always, they're like, I went during the day. I'm like, let me just go. Maybe look at me like an inhaler or something. And next thing you know, I'm getting chest X-rays. I'm getting um, blood work for heart. They're like, you may have had like we're gonna check to make sure you haven't had a stroke or a heart attack. The
Oh my
EKG,
goodness, the
everything's
works.
fine. The chest X-ray, I'm like waiting because I did. Listen, my daughter was sick for a while, and my wife almost died twice, and I started smoking cigarettes, which is a horrendous, like on top of all of those things, let me contribute to myself getting cancer. Like that's a good strategy. So I was worried about it, but I cut all of that stuff out. That's done. And there actually is, it's amazing. There's a book. Like I tried everything. I had this hypnosis course. I tried everything. I couldn't quit this dumb habit. And working from home made it easier because
Mhm.
especially on those scrums in the morning, I would be smoking a
Just
cigarette.
standing
It
outside,
was
yeah.
just I was outside. I was like drinking, I was pounding coffee. I was smoking like I felt like I loved it. I loved it. It was awesome. People would like,
Freedom to do what you want.
oh, it was great. It was so great. It was like, this is what being an adult is all about. But it's so stupid. And I read this book and it said, it's like basically, it's like people who don't smoke, they don't crave a cigarette. It does not relax you. It's a stimulant. It's a chemical. If you didn't smoke and you had a cigarette now, you would hate it. You have to get used to smoking. You have to
Mhm.
get used to it. It's not good for you. It doesn't even feel that great. It's not relaxing. It's only relaxing because you're addicted. And it's like wearing a really tight pair of shoes and then releasing, taking the shoe off and saying, "Oh, that was so relaxing." Well, it's only relaxing because your shoe was tight in the first place. That's the addiction.
Right. Buy
And
some shoes that fit.
oh my God. I remember I was sitting outside reading it on my phone. Smoke, there's like, just keep smoking. And I'm smoking. And they're like, all right, you're just going to have your last cigarette. And you read, it's like I don't know, it's like a 200-page book. It's not even that long.
Yeah, you said you plowed through it. You had told me about this.
I smoked my last cigarette and I'm like, it just can't be. I'm like, this is not going to work. And then I haven't had a cigarette since. That was 6 months ago. And
It's
it was
awesome.
just like, it feels like I never, the thought of a cigarette is not even appealing because I think about it and I'm like, it's just not like it's not going to do anything good for me. And that's how you
Right.
have to, like, you've got to reframe that. And I think you need to do that with everything. I think you need to be, I'm very susceptible to, the marketing bullets when you see like advertising and there's like a bullet, like all these different like
Right.
benefits, and I love those. I love those. I feel like as a human being, you need to do that to yourself. You need to be a copywriter for your life. So I have to eat oatmeal every day. Every day I have to eat oatmeal because if I don't, I'll collapse because I'm not eating. I'm hardly eating anything else. And oatmeal's not my, especially I eat the steel cut oats and
hmm
it's like, and I don't cook them. I don't have time to cook them in the pot. So I cook them in the microwave. So literally it's like I'm eating, like I'm just crunching on dirt.
Right.
It's just dirt. It's so
The
rough
the
and tough.
grittiest breakfast you can
Yeah,
have.
right. It's like sandpaper. And I said, and I wasn't looking forward to it. And then I saw my wife had like caramel, um, it was like caramel creamer, but it was like caramel pie or something. And I said, that's interesting. I'm like, it's just caramel. I said, well, what if, and I put pecans in my cereal. I said, I'm gonna call it a cinnamon pecan roll oatmeal. And now all of a sudden I look forward to it. I
Right.
love it.
You can't wait to it.
It's like eating a Cinnabon. It's like eating a Cinnabon. I just tricked myself and I knew that I tricked myself. And there's nothing even to it. I tricked myself. I knew I tricked myself. That's how stupid I am. I'm so stupid I can trick myself even knowing that I'm tricking myself.
I love it.
Anyway, um there's
So
a lot of stuff in the news these days that I wanted to talk to you about. Do you have anything you wanted to talk to me
no,
about?
I mean I feel like you hit the big one, Richard Lewis, right? I feel like I got some life tips out of you already tonight too.
Bye.
We're a little disorganized here, but
Yeah. Well,
uh nothing nothing huge. I will say something funny that happened this week. I don't know if you followed any of the global news, and I'm not a social media person, but there was this Willy Wonka experience. Did you hear anything about this in Glasgow?
I saw I know the gist of it. Give it to me. I know the gist of it.
Yeah, so there was it was supposed to be an event for families, right? They
Right.
sold tickets. There's this whole experience. There was supposed to
Right.
be, Oompa Loompas and, just actors doing their thing.
Right.
And the, I guess you could compare it to like the Fire Festival, right? Like these families showed up and the costumes, they were comparing them to like being bought off of like Sheen or Temu. And there's this meme going around, and this poor lady who is an actor,
Right.
she actually got interviewed, which is even funnier. Um, she looks like she's standing. I think that she was in like the jelly bean room or something, and it was supposed to be this whole experience. They ran out of jelly beans for these poor children. But she's standing at a table with like smoke and like lab equipment. It looks like she's cooking meth. I mean, she's
Oh
got
my
the green
God.
hair, the wacky shirt on, the smoke, and like a chemistry set.
So what happened here? Did they just this is just a company that just wanted to make a quick
Yeah,
buck off of the movie?
it really, yeah. I don't know who the company is, but they were trying to do something that seemed like a good idea,
Right.
but were in way over their heads,
Right.
and it fell apart quick. I mean, real quick. They called the cops. The people were getting angry. They wanted their money back. I mean, it was Fire Festival,
Uh,
for Oompa Loompas. It was bad.
oh,
So yeah,
wow. Where was this?
that was
Glasgow?
pretty funny. Glasgow, Scotland. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I could see people saying, you know what, let's capitalize on the movie. The movie just came out. Let's do something. But that's high expectations, right? Like those were all like meticulous sets in the Willy Wonka
Yes.
movies.
Yeah, they were the actors were complaining that they didn't even have the costumes. Up until the last minute, they were really not great costumes.
Right.
So I
You
did
can't set that up like a high school or a haunted house. That's what it sounds like. It's like some high schoolers
right.
put on a haunted house, tried to do a Wonka
And it
experience.
was in a warehouse setting. I mean,
Right.
they
With the
partitioned
lights
stuff
on.
off.
With
Yeah,
the lights
right.
on.
It's really it was yeah, poor execution. Probably a good idea. They probably meant well. Who knows? Maybe
Well,
not.
listen, you
But
just described most of my 20s, so I get it. I get it. All right. Well, that's it. That's interesting. Yeah, I had heard about that. I heard people were angry. I didn't realize it was in Glasgow. What else? Anything else? I had um I had so I saw that people they now want to use scents instead of, did you see this? Instead of pills or injections, they'll be able to give you medicine in the near future just by sniffing it. Um, and which
okay.
is crazy. Um,
It's a little crazy because I feel like it's easy to cross contaminate other people.
Right, but they said the exposure to an odorant can directly alter expression of genes, even in tissues that have no odorant receptors, and that came as a complete surprise. So yeah,
Interesting.
I didn't think about that. I had always had this idea that when COVID came around, I said, you know what? And now I don't know. Now listen, everybody's taking a step back at, the vaccine. There's some risks for some individuals, but I said to myself, you know what? Why is everything that gets spread bad? Like, why does it have to be a friggin' a disease, a pandemic that gets spread? Like, would it be great if like a really healthy thing could get spread like COVID? Like what if the vaccine, like what if you could spread the vaccine to people
Like
and that would fight it off? Why
tag,
do
I
we
got
have to
you,
do
kind of like cooties.
right? But it's everything's always negative. Why can't the thing that spreads be something that's good or it makes you
Yeah.
happy? Like, oh, I just caught happiness from my waiter at the restaurant.
Well, it's smiles are contagious, right? They say those are contagious, but you're right. But I do think it has something to do with evolution, survival of the fittest, things like
Uh,
that.
so I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I always thought it would be great if they could create a cure that gets spread instead of the disease that gets spread.
I think
Here's here's
that
my
would make
bad spot.
everyone's lives a lot easier.
Right, right. But
Be
and
bad
then
for capitalism, but
but
be
there's
good
the
for the
ethical
world.
there's the ethical thing. What if people don't want to be vaxxed and you are standing next to them and your vaccine, they sniff your vaccine off of you and then they get vaxxed. So the anti-vaxxers, it's a whole thing. Nothing can ever be easy
No,
is what I've learned.
it's
You
how the
can't,
world goes around.
yeah, even if you come up with a good thing, everyone's gonna piss on it. There's
Yeah.
always somebody to piss on your ideas or something good. There's always, always. I do have a rule for you. I do have a rule. Did we talk about this last week? I don't know. But I do have a rule. Anything that anybody does, a
Mm.
celebrity, anything that they do that I would get fired doing, uh, number one, I don't do. So when Travis
Yep.
he checked his coach and yelled at his face, imagine if I did that to Paul. Would I not get fired on the spot? Imagine that, right? I would have
Yeah.
gotten fired on the spot. I don't that behavior if and I don't I detest it in politicians. There's politicians that have done stuff, said stuff that I could never say at work. And if that's true, that's not good behavior. So that's a rule that I have.
Yeah, I think you did you said something very similar.
It
So yeah, you're living by it. I love it.
it bears repeating.
Yeah.
Well, listen, um, you have any other news for me?
No,
Um,
I was hoping you had some letters for us. I think you mentioned
you know what?
some fans wrote in.
I gotta be honest, the letters sucked this week, so
Oh, okay.
they weren't good. If
Try
people
harder,
write
guys.
in,
Try harder.
yeah, if they write in and the if they write in and the stuff is not good, I'm not reading it. I'm not just gonna read it
Okay.
just because yeah, they've got to be
That's
good
fair.
questions.
You got to pass the Jason sniff test.
It's a Jason sniff test, right? And don't be vaccinating me with your sniff. I don't want to be vaccinated. So I do have an unsolicited life tip, even though I've already given
Yeah, you've given a bunch, but let's hear it. What do you got?
my entire life is an unsolicited life tip. Um, I just recently, do you know who Napoleon Hill is?
That one's not ringing a bell, no.
Yeah, he wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich, which is supposed to be a classic. I've never read it. And
Think and
he's
grow
also,
rich. Okay.
yeah, there's another guy, um, Vincent, Vincent, Vincent Norman. What is his name? There's another guy. Before I get into my unsolicited life tip, I can't not tell you this because it's crazy. So this was around Norman Vincent Peale, and he wrote, this is gonna segue, but he wrote The Power of Positive Thinking. Um,
Okay. I've heard of that one.
yeah, and oh, the guru couch is becoming visible. He so this is a crazy story. I'll just give you a little bit of it. So the basic idea behind that book is that by keeping positive thoughts, you'll create positive things in your life, which is not hard to extrapolate, right? There's nothing, you don't need woo-woo behind that. People who are positive generally are more open to opportunities and to
Hmm.
possibilities, and generally people who are in better spirits probably are in better health, and so on and on and on, right? Keeping positive thoughts in your head is I don't think many people can argue is probably a good thing. Um, Obviously, there's some times when that's you should think critically, you should try to think negatively to see what can go wrong, but overall, being positive is a good thing, and a useful thing. The the night shift went off on my computer again, so everything's orange. So this is so amazing. You're going to love this. So Donald Trump, his family knew this guy really well, and this guy, like, I think he may have even married Donald Trump and his first wife. He married somebody. He was like acted as a pastor or a priest. The Trump family was very into uh this philosophy of life.
Hmm.
And Donald Trump took this philosophy of life, and never in the history of positive thinking has anyone taken it as far as he has. There's actually a
To
really
the
great
extreme.
article, right? To such extreme that he will not he he will not listen to facts that contradict his positive thinking. So again, positive thinking is great, but not to the detriment of ignoring reality. And
Hmm.
I'll have to find, I'll find the article. It's fascinating because it's like almost sociopathic, the extent to which the positive thinking has been brought. So really interesting. But this guy, Napoleon Hill, I just got this book. It's getting blocked out. Here, let me, this is Napoleon Hill's master course,
The
The
original science
Original
success.
Science
Okay.
of Success. I'm gonna go back into blur mode. And some of the great things, so some of the stuff is really basic, but I think it bears repeating, like applying the principle of definite major purpose. Like have one major purpose to your life. Like people don't even think about that. They just kind of like do tasks without having like the overall arching thing. Like, what do you want your life to be about? Do people even think about that? I know I didn't for a
I
long.
can't, yeah, I can't say I think about one sole purpose, no. Or
Right,
major. It's defined as
right.
major, right? So I don't know if it's only one, but it's certainly one major one.
Right. And this is like if you want to get something done, you gotta have like a you have to have like a mission in life. And I love that. Like what is your major purpose? Otherwise you're it kind of is like an organizing principle. But anyway, he goes on and on. There's concentration, there's and then the last thing that I'll leave you with is the cosmic habit force. Now again, this is copywriting 101, right? Just saying build a habit is really boring. But once you say cosmic habit force, how awesome is that?
It's
Like
powerful.
it's it's the coolest thing I've ever heard. It's and he says it's the most profound of all the lessons. Anyway, it's just like it's the controlling force. If you just you get what you do over and over and over again. And that's literally cosmic habit force. So anyway, my unsolicited life tip is I think if you want some tips on success and how to focus, because it's all about like focusing your energy on one thing, which is super important, especially in this day and age where like you're distracted by everything,
Everything.
everything, everything. Are you distracted by this show right now? Is distracting you from your dominant purpose in life. So, but it's not because now I'm telling
Uh,
you to
this
get a
is,
dominant
yeah,
purpose.
exactly. I gotta reevaluate what my purpose is.
It just flipped. See, I just flipped it. Um, it's so anyway, my life tip is check out some of the Napoleon Hill books. He also has the 17 Laws of Success, I think. Another really great, and it's mostly it is they're all kind of the same thing, kind of rewritten several different ways. The ironic part of this is in this guy's later years, not doing that great. But that doesn't matter to me because a lot of these guys, like Alan Watts, was like the Zen philosopher. He's like, I'm just an entertainer. He was like laid down some
Right.
hardcore Zen Eastern wisdom and was a drunk. Like had an alcohol problem. Was not the best person in his social life, but
Hmm.
you can still gain a lot of wisdom. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you can get some wisdom somewhere, and use it, just because the person who came up with it doesn't mean. And all these guys everyone's trying to sell something, right? So
That's how it works in life, right? I mean, you don't have to be a great role model as long as what you're selling is has a purpose, right? I mean,
as long as it fulfills, and he lists there's like eight things that everybody wants, and if you fulfill some of those, you'll have success. So the ideas are really really great. So I think everybody should check him out if you're interested in success and some of those ideas. So
I like it. It's very, very deep. Mine's
that's all
not
right.
so intense.
I'm
Mine,
still I have to tell my wife that she needs to start saving the tissue boxes. I like that idea. Everybody, if you don't know what we're talking about, you have to go back
organize.
to last week's episode and check that out. So what do you got? I'm excited for this week's tip.
This is for the people who really know me, but
Okay.
it's gotten me this far in life.
Oh wow. Let's
Grill more.
grill more.
Grill more.
You're
So
always you're never saying something that I know. It's always grill more. Is that a thing?
so here's the thing. When I bought my house,
Right.
it still has an apartment sized stove. And I kid you not, my wife was in New York City last year for a year. Literally was the same oven stove combo.
Okay.
I didn't trust this thing from day one. The
How
house was
many
very
how
old.
many flames?
4, but this
Okay.
thing's about 22 to 24 inches wide. Very narrow.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like a almost like a kid's toy.
Okay.
So anyway, have not used or had a working oven or stove in my house going on 12 years.
Okay.
Okay. How do I live? I don't do takeout, not often.
Right.
I mean, I do takeout, but I do not do takeout daily.
Right.
Um, Grill right outside the back door, year round, hard pipe to natural gas.
Hard
When I
pipe. Yeah.
first moved in, thermal hearth. Anyone out there who's maybe in an apartment, maybe you're in a college dorm room, you got a microwave, thermal hearth.
What is
I was
that?
grilling, I was
What does
grilling
that
meats
mean?
in my microwave.
Thermal hearth? What does that
Thermal
mean?
hearth.
What is
It's
that?
a contraption that has protected metal to go in your microwave, right? You think metal microwave no good. It's got a protective coating. The way it cooks with this special lid, I could grill meats in my microwave. Phenomenal.
Grill meats with the door closed?
Yeah. No, like you you use the microwave.
How
So
are
so
you're putting the meat on a grill and putting it in the microwave?
it's so yeah, we'll put the link. It's a metal contraption that the meat goes in
Right. Inside. Goes inside of
inside.
this thing.
And the
Okay.
way the way it uses the microwaves and I don't know all the science behind it, but you could get charred marks on your meats in the microwave.
You're
Thing was
cooking
amazing.
steaks in there.
I did
How do
pork
you
chops mostly. Chicken, pork
how
chops.
do you how do you can you control the temperature of the no.
Just the time on the microwave. And level, but I was always using high. Anyway, that was phase one. Phase
Okay.
two, the Instapot. I could go on for days about it. Not gonna take up
Is
our
that a
time
pressure
here.
cooker?
That's a
I can't.
pressure cooker.
Yeah. You're on a list somewhere.
Probably, because I
Yeah.
have two of them.
Yeah, you're on a list. Yeah.
But
All right.
that's okay. That's okay. I've got one of them which can air fry, it can broil, it can bake, it can dehydrate,
I have
all in
that one.
one.
I have that one. It's not an Instapot though.
Yeah, so the one
It's,
I have is Instapot with a special lid.
okay.
Yeah. But anyway, Instapots are basically our staple here and the grill. So grill more. You don't need the stove, you don't need the oven.
Okay.
We make do.
All right. Well, we just don't use and I don't use either one, but I want to use more. Now, are you worried about grilling? Isn't that it's not healthy for you to be doing that all the time?
So I'm using natural gas, not charcoal. I love charcoal, too time consuming.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not, you know, making hockey pucks. I actually use it to bake. I mean, you ever bake cookies on your grill?
No, I haven't said it. It's been sitting out there for 2 years. I haven't
Oh,
actually
come
thought of
on.
that.
Yeah, you
I
so
haven't
you
used it once.
take the tip. Do it.
I will, and it's a pretty nice grill. My wife got it through her. She had accumulated points and got a.
Even better.
It's like it's like top of the line grill. It's got the side cooker. It's
Side burner. Is it a burner? Because that's how I boil a lot of my water. People ask, how do you boil water?
it's got a side burner. It's got. I mean, you could always microwave water, but
Takes a long time
yeah,
but
you could. But yeah. Oh, I guess you couldn't boil water for pasta or something in it, but you can still use your
pasta and
stove.
the ins.
It's
I,
just small.
so so I don't trust this particular stove. I actually disconnected the gas line. I do a lot of my own construction stuff. I have no need.
Okay.
It's not, and people think I'm crazy. A lot of my friends, this is an ongoing thing. They love to tease me about it. The more they tease me, the more I prove I don't need it.
Grill more. Now, do you also, so one year, my wife and I, before we had a grill, we received from a relative, a well-meaning relative that I won't name, a copper, um, like a copper thing that you can put on your grill. So you can cook on this
Oh,
copper
the mat.
sheet. Yeah, like a
Yeah, yeah.
mat.
I've
Yeah,
seen them.
yeah. I don't know what the purpose of that is.
I think it's more of a non-stick thing. So
Yeah.
like vegetables and stuff, that are small that would normally fall through the grates. You can put on there and they won't
Right.
stick. They won't fall
And I think
through.
that would be healthy because you're not getting the burn marks, right? You're just
Yeah.
cooking the heat.
Listen, so even just last night, baking dish, sweet potatoes, onions, salt, pepper, or olive oil, baked it on the grill. People think grill,
Oh,
it's grill. No, you use
right.
it as an oven.
You you put wow. All right. I'll have to, I mean, but I have an oven and I have a stovetop. I can use those.
Frozen pizza on the grill beats the oven.
Okay. I mean, I can't eat pizza. Well, I can eat fake pizza. Um, all right. Grill more. You hear
Grill
that,
more,
everybody? You
life
should
tip.
grill more. That should be your dominant life force, cosmic thought in life is that you should be more, uh, grilling more often. Have you ever grilled breakfast? That would be, you gotta
Outside
do
of
it.
outside of camping,
Yeah.
I
Can you grill some
I
eggs
can't
up
I
there?
can't say yeah, why not? Why not?
I
I could
like
think
it.
of a bunch of stuff to do for breakfast. I don't go out of my way for breakfast. I eat
Okay.
smoothie essentially now is what my diet
Okay.
consists of, or overnight oats. You wanna try something else for
Yeah.
yourself? Do the overnight
I don't
oats.
have 20 minutes to cook the oats. I don't have overnight.
No, we don't cook any oats.
No, I'm not leaving
We
it sit over I'm not leaving
Yeah.
food. I'm not leaving food in water. That's how mold grows. I'm not
Nah.
doing it. Please.
I'll send you a recipe.
I'm not doing it.
I
I'm
think you
not doing it. I
underestimate
read,
what's involved.
it's so funny. I looked at the back of the oats yesterday and it said that was one of the ways to cook the steel cut. And the steel cut, obviously, they're not rolled,
Right.
they're not processed, they're very minimally processed. So they take a long time to cook. And the last line said, "We do not recommend microwave instructions." Uh, and then I just put it in. I put it in for 40 seconds and then I take it out. I stir it a little. I put it in for another 40 seconds and it does not, it's hot. And then I just dump cinnamon and some nuts on it, not that many, and some chia seeds, some, what are the other seeds?
Pumpkin seeds.
No, there's three seeds that are really good for heart health. Chia seeds and, um,
Sunflowers?
no, they're not. No, no,
Not
no.
with the shell.
They're like brown little seeds. They're not something you would like eat.
Flaxseed?
Flaxseed.
Yeah, I put flaxseed in my smoothies.
Yeah. And then the other
And
one that's
chia
supposed to be
seeds.
chia seeds. And then also the third one that's supposed to be really good is are hemp seeds. And
I've
though,
had hemp on bowls. I've never made my own or never used it in anything I've made.
yeah, it's like it's literally like chopped up wood. I mean, it's like you're eating, and I have a big bag of flaxseed that's ground up. It's like I used to use that. It's just dirt. Just looks like dirt.
How long does that last you? Because I bought the full seeds because people said the ground seeds don't last as long. So I have a little mortar and pestle.
Yeah.
That's like one of the few things I actually do to prep that
Okay.
anything in
I
breakfast.
stopped eating the ground dirt. My wife started buying the whole seed, so we have a little bag of that. So I've been eating the whole seeds instead.
Yeah, I mean they're fine. They're no big
So.
deal. They're just harder for your body to break down.
Yeah, it's fine. My body's got nothing else to do. I'm only eating, and I'm not even eating that often. I'm eating like I'm fasting a lot. So I gotta do this. But all right. Well, I think I think that's it. This might be. I've said so much. I've given everything I've taught you everything I can
No,
teach.
you've got more to give, but on
I
another day.
I think I've taught you everything that I can teach you. Now, I will say, I actually do have a lot more to talk about Richard Lewis, believe it or not. I have a whole little thing about Richard Lewis and the Florida flu. And so to read that, you can read that completely risk-free at jasonmessina.com. And you can sign up for to get my writing every day delivered to you into your email in your pocket. It's like a little show, little daily show in your pocket every day. So so yeah, if you're interested in hearing this story about Richard Lewis and the Florida flu, then please check out my site. What do you got this week? Anything exciting to
Yeah, in the way
share?
of food, we'll have to post the link because it's not your typical spelling here, but
Okay.
our buddy Jerry, he's got a great hobby making sourdough bread. I know that was a big
Yes.
thing, but he was way into this before COVID, people.
Okay.
Papa
It's
Sourdough,
true. That's true.
papasourdough.com. He makes incredible bread. I mean, he's a big Italian guy. He knows
Well,
what he's doing.
I'm
His
Italian
his
too.
focus has been on how do I make the best bread. I think he's always had a dream of opening up his own restaurant and really making sure that the bread was a focal point. And
Yeah.
man, he's got some delicious stuff on there. I can't wait to get my next order in. He's got a new oven. He's got a new
Okay.
sink that he told me about earlier today
And
that's on the way.
does he ship anywhere? Because I know he's in
So
Jersey.
he has shipped. He is in Jersey. Start with Jersey. I think he's going to be expanding. I think his goal is to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But
Okay.
certainly Jersey, and if you're up north, Sussex County, he'll even drive it over. So
Okay. Well,
check him
listen, if
out.
his goal is to get bigger, eating lots of bread is certainly the way to
There's
do it.
certainly a way to do it. Listen, I don't eat a ton of bread myself. I do love his sourdough, and I'm a sucker for a good avocado toast. So if I get a
I love
loaf, I
sourdough.
slice it up. It's
You
good.
know, sourdough is so I'm only eating whole grain bread now, but
Nice.
especially the Ezekiel, like the live bread, it's my life is such a pain in the ass.
You're
It's like
emptying your wallet every week for a slice of bread.
it's just not even that. I got to put it in the refrigerator. It's got to be refrigerated. It only lasts 2 weeks. You have to freeze it if you're not going to eat it right away. It's like, and so anyway, but sourdough bread, they said, is the best, other than the whole grain. Sourdough bread has something in it that's really good for you and is eaten in the blue zones, which I was really happy to see because I love sourdough bread. I really, really do.
Mhm.
So that's great. I might actually place an order.
And
For some nice treat.
I'm telling you, check him out. Bacon sourdough, dark chocolate almond sourdough. One of
Yeah,
my
that sounds
favorites,
so
the
good.
garlic rosemary. And he also has a roasted garlic, which I think he said something like 7 cloves. It's a
Wow,
lot.
that's too
It's
much for
so
me.
good though.
It's people love that.
I
People
love it.
love
I'm a
that.
garlic
All
guy.
right,
Yeah.
I see now you've already sold me on a loaf of sourdough and a loaf of the chocolate almond. So we'll have it's Papa. How do you spell Papa?
It's POPPA
Okay,
sourdough.com.
sourdough.com. All right, and we'll have the link on I guess go to the last show site is down temporarily under construction. So go to my site and go to the blog. We'll have and I'll put the link actually in the show notes so they can go straight. I'll put all the links in the show notes and then I'll put them on a post on the site so that they want to uh,
Perfect.
read
And
some more.
we'll get that site back up.
Yeah, it's just down for some cosmetic updates, but that'll be back up soon. And I think you know what the problem is though, all of the old show notes, I think they're gone.
That's
Um,
unfortunate.
yeah, I had somebody look at. I mean, that's hundreds of pages. And it's my fault. I didn't back them up. I just
The
let the
last time we're putting you in charge.
yeah, so maybe we can go on like Internet Archive, but I think they were no index, no like I don't think they're anywhere. So I'm still working on that. I'm still working with the hosting company to see if we can salvage that. But you know what? Jim Morrison, before he started the Doors, I think he had written a lot of songs, and they all burned down. And then he was forced to reinvent himself. And you hear that story over and over again. I'm not a huge Doors fan anymore, though. But I mean, he's an iconic band, so you get the point. You get the gist.
I
Um,
get it.
and all right, and then I think next week the new site will be up. Also we'll talk about armchair thrills. I'm the kind of guy that when I feel like I need to leave the house, I schedule a doctor's appointment so that I can, you know, get something productive done. I don't like leaving the house. So,
Oh yeah, but we have different definitions of how to have fun.
well, I mean, it's not fun, but if I need a change of pace, I'll schedule a doctor's appointment to get out of the house.
How about you start with a walk around the backyard?
I know. And then I all right, the final thing. Otherwise we're going to keep talking. The final thing is I was walking in the house. I didn't even want to walk outside. I said, "You know what? I'll put the TV on or I'll put a podcast on. Why even why even walk?" And my wife was here, my daughter's here, they're watching TV. And I'm still with them. The way our house is built, there's like a middle section of like wall and the basement, the stairs to the basement, and I can walk
Around
from
it?
the living room, the family room to the living room to the dining room to the kitchen and then back again. So it's a circle. It's basically a circle. And I would do that, but you can't walk that. I was walking in my socks. You can't walk that fast in the house. So
No,
I
you
wasn't
can't.
even timing it. I don't even know if the GPS was, I was like, is it really capturing every step because I'm walking in such a small, like, area? Like, is it really catching the steps? Because I don't know how it calculates. Is it calculating the steps based on my steps or on my arm movement? Anyway, I
Yeah.
stopped doing that. So,
Okay. So that's now
well,
led you to go to the doctor when you want to get
well,
out of the house.
well, because you know what? And this is insane, but I felt like you're walking, but I'm just a guy. I'm walking by myself. I mean, sometimes I have my dog with me. She's going to be 14, so we just go around the block with her. She can't walk for 2 miles, but like a truck could pull up, four masked bad actors could jump out, throw me in the truck, hold me
You're
for
right.
ransom.
It could happen.
Then they hold me for ransom, and I'm like, what a disaster that is. So then they're like, oh, well, we got to keep you healthy, otherwise we can't get any money. It's time to eat. Here's some food. And I'm like, well, I'm on the Esalen diet. I can only eat whole grains. I can't eat anything
I
with
hope you got a
salt,
fridge to store my bread.
sugar. I got to, it's like, and it's 9 a.m. I can't eat for another 3 hours. I'm doing the intermittent fasting. Like, I got to teach them about. So next thing you know, they're fasting, and now it's the whole, So I'm like, what? I'm just like, I can't deal with that. I can't be kidnapped and having to deal with people and tell them my dietary restrictions and then and then who's going to put the ransom up? I mean, is my wife going to put the ransom up? I don't know. So no, my wife loves me. She would put the ransom up, but who needs to go that far? So it's like, and there's bears around here. There's all sorts of stuff. So you don't go out if you go outside without some kind of pepper spray or weapon. I think you're just looking for trouble because one day
Bear
something's going to
mace.
happen, right? One day something is going to happen and you need to be prepared.
You're right.
That's another unsolicited
I
life.
I I like it, and I think you've got a fear of actually finding out that your major purpose in life is actually making bad people turn good because you would turn them onto a diet and make them healthy.
Right. That's the whole thing. Then you next thing you know, we're they're ordering Napoleon Hill books. We're having a little book club. And then they're like, all right, they paid the ransom. It's time to go home. And I'm like, well, you know, I didn't leave the house for 3 years. I'm kind of having fun here. So, but no, again, like who's prepared for any of that stuff? You got to be prepared. Any dog could go wild, come after you. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? You know the best way to, I don't know if this is true. I haven't tried it, but if a dog attacks you, um, you should grab, it's hysterical.
I'm waiting for it because
You
I know one thing.
should grab its hind legs.
Oh,
that'll really
okay.
be fun.
That's that's a
Oh,
little friendlier than mine.
well, what would you do?
The old thumb trick up the rear end.
Oh,
They let go real quick.
what? Yeah,
Yeah.
but if they're biting you, how the heck are you going to get to their rear end?
I
Listen,
mean,
that's
hey,
not. I don't. Yeah.
desperate times.
I mean, I guess if they're biting you, you're. I think I would go for the. I think I'd go for the legs first because I don't want them to get the wrong idea. And like, if that goes wrong, I think that's going to escalate things in a whole different matter. I never heard of that one. And so I'd have to wear gloves. Like, it'd have to be a.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So just pepper spray. Get some pepper spray. Um, really, that's the easiest thing, I think. That pepper spray, make sure you can run.
And make sure you spray it away from you, not toward
Right.
yourself.
Right. That would be, yeah, you don't want to do that. So, all right, my friends, it's been another great show. Thank you. Thank you for the tip. Please, everyone, don't forget to grill more. Check out the links, and we'll be back here next week to talk some more and to investigate everything. I think we pretty much investigated all there
We
is
hit
to
a lot.
today.
And
So,
please send some better letters.
yes, yes, you can start sending those now. I've thrown all the previous ones out. So, let's start fresh, everybody. If if there's going to be another show, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Any last words?
That's it. We'll
That's
see
it.
you next week.
Peace.